Hello everyone, hoping you are doing well. So we are going to have a series of mini tutorials that will guide us through this short break on how well we can use Visual Studio Code and other authoring software in designing websites. Like I told you before during lessons, when we talk about web design at our level or level, we specifically focus more on static web pages. When I talk about static web pages, so here we shall be dealing specifically with basic HTML tags and basic CSS designs. Basic, when I talk of basic, these are common tags everyone must be knowing as far as web design is concerned. So we are going to have short tutorials that will guide us through creating some different attributes, different things in web design, and those include creating navigation links, which is the key important thing you must learn as far as web design is concerned if you are going to create more than one web page. Then we also have to learn how to import images, how to import videos, how to import audio, how to create tables, and then how to create forms. Those are the key things you must learn in web design. So today we are going to start with what is more important and what actually everyone must know. The moment you create a website like this, you must create a navigation bar. You must create navigation links because you have to help users who are going to interact with your website easily navigate through all your web pages without any difficulty. So that is where the navigation comes in. So today we are going to learn how well can we create a simple navigation bar. So stay with me and we begin. So we shall begin by creating our folder which we shall be using to create this. So I create a simple folder here and I call it web design. Then so I'm going to open it. So this is how it looks like. So I'm going to come to my start and search for Studio Code and open it. So this is the interface for Visual Studio Code. When you open it for the first time, this is how it looks like. So we are going to come to File, we go to Open Folder. We are going to add our folder here, so we go to Open Folder. Then it will bring for us this Windows Explorer dialog box. So we shall navigate to Desktop. Then we select our folder web design and then we click select folder, and our folder will be loaded here as you can see. So whatever file we create is going to be appearing here. So you can see our folder is empty, and because we haven't created any file, so we are going to add files to our folder. So we are going to create a home file. I usually name it index. So we are going to create an index file where we are going to practice from. So I will come to File, then go to New. Then here I'm going to type the file name. So I'm going to type index.html and then press enter, and it asks me to save, and I click create file, and the file will be created. Sorry, we have made the spelling error in this, so I can edit. I'm going to rename. Then I had written HRML, it should be HTML, and I save. So you can see it has recognized it. So I'm going to open it. So you can see it is empty. So we are going to begin creating our navigation bar. So here, pay attention clearly. I'm going to be a bit slow, and I'm going to explain every kind of code, every kind of tag, any kind of attribute we are going to involve here. So we are going to first declare HTML document on our first line by saying we open the tag, then exclamation mark, then we type doc type dot HTML. Then so we are going to press enter, and then we open our HTML tag and then press enter. So it should be HTML, not HTML, sorry. HTML. Okay, so whatever we want to put in a web page must appear between the HTML opening and closing tag. It must be between. So HTML opens, and again it is the one that closes at the end. That's what you have to know. So we are going to open a new tag within HTML, that is the head tag. What do we put in the head tag? We said in the head tag we put titles and CSS styles and any other kind of metadata that is not going to be displayed within our web page. So for example, title. So I can create a title for my web page and call it, maybe, let's say we are designing a website for a school. I will say King Solomon's College Chatega. Yes, as simple as that. So if I open my web page here, I will navigate to desktop, go to our folder web design. If I open our file in the Chrome, you will find actually that our title is appearing in the tab here, King Solomon's College Chatega. So let us proceed. Actually, let me make spelling correction here. It is double L. So I'm going to come here at the end of the closing head tag and press enter, and now open my body tag. So in the body tag, it is where you put all kind of visible content you need the user to see. So the first thing what I will do, I'll first create in the body, I'll first create a simple paragraph. I'll create a simple paragraph by opening the paragraph tag. So what am I going to put in this paragraph? The first paragraph is going to have contacts for the school, so that if someone opens the web page, he or she can easily land on the contacts. And I want to space these contacts a bit. I don't want them to be squeezed together. That is, I want to put an email, and then I also want to put telephone numbers. So I don't want to squeeze them together. So what will I do here? I'm going to create them using a span tag. A span tag, briefly, a span tag, like, it has no much effect actually on the code. Even if I write it in one line paragraph, if I write email, I write telephone numbers, is okay. But now span tag, for it keeps them in line but splits them differently, such that if I want to apply different styles on each, it becomes easier for me to deal with. So span is going to help us in categorizing these two, that is email and telephone numbers separately, so that we can apply different designs if we need to. Okay, so I'm going to open my tag and open span tag. Then in the first span I'm going to put email. I put colons, then press space. Now here I can put email for the school, e.g. King Solomon's College Chatega at gmail.com. Okay, then I can come at the end of this paragraph, of this span. Let me put it on a new line such that they are separate and you can see them clearly. So I'm going to open a second span. So this span is going to have our telephone numbers. Maybe I can say tel space 0772 651 444. Can put some space. I can put like slash. I like using actually this, and again put 0740 233 225, something like that. So I can save what I have done so far. I love doing as I see, such that whatever I apply, I see how it will look like. So if we run this, this is actually how it is going to look like. This is how it is going to look like. Email, you can see it is like one sentence. So like you cannot, if you are visualizing, you cannot easily see the span. Just the span categorizes these two such that when we are to deal with them, it becomes easier. Now, for example, I need to put a space between telephone numbers and the email. Like I need to put a space between them. So we are going to do that using styles. Now, remember we have two spans here. We might need to apply different designs on them, and then we might also need to have a general design for these two. So what I will do here, I'm going to come to our main paragraph here and create a class. I told you a class helps us in generalizing a style. For example, I might need to create more than one paragraph in a web page. So the moment I got my styles and then just say P and design P, it means that style will apply to all paragraphs, even those that I don't want the paragraph to go to. So what we do to differentiate these paragraph tags, maybe the first paragraph and the second paragraph. If you have two paragraphs and you want to create a distinction between them, then we create them with classes. We give them different classes. So these classes really help us to separate the styles from one paragraph and another, or from one tag to another, even if the tags are of the same attribute. See, so we are going to create the class. So I'm going to name this class of the first paragraph because it is having contacts, so I'm going to name it contacts. Okay, so it means if I create another paragraph, let's say it is going to talk about maybe the school's biodata, like the background of the school. I also have to give it a class and say this paragraph is going to talk about background. So that when I'm styling and I apply styles on the background, they do not affect other paragraphs. That is the main importance of applying classes. So now I'm going to save. So if I run again, you'll see still there is no change because we have not done anything. So this class helps us entirely when we are handling styles of a web page. So we are going to apply styles on this simple paragraph. So we shall come to our head tag. Immediately after our title. We press enter and then open the style tag. So within this style tag, is where we are going to put all the styles for this web page. I told you at first I really don't like putting styles within HTML, but it is okay. But as 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 the file grows and becomes bigger, it becomes too difficult to control. So that's why I love putting styles outside. However, for now we are going to put them inside for study purposes. Okay, so we are going to first style the body. When I talk about the body, it is this all screen, all of this white screen you see in the web browser is the body. So we are going to apply general styles for this body. So I will type body. So this body, it means I'm designing the body tag. So in the body, I'm going to open the bracelet. So in the body one margin, I'm going to make the margin of this body to 0. When I make it 0, what does this help us? When I make it 0, the margins I told you are the distances from the edge of the screen to where the text begins from. For example, you can see the distance between the edge of the screen here and where the letter E is. There is a space. So that is the margin that the web browser provides it to the content. So I really don't love that margin when we add in styles, we add in backgrounds, we realize that some backgrounds are just hanging. So that's why I always recommend set margin, the entire body margin or to 0, and then control individual margins of the content on the web page. So I'm going to set this to 0. Then I can also give it a background color, put colons. I can give it like this one and put semicolons, and I press Ctrl plus S to save my work. So if I refresh, you will see now the word email has gone up to the extreme end of the edge. Okay, but there is still space up. Why? Because a paragraph by default must not start exactly on the last margin. But if it was just a normal text, it would start actually from the top. Okay, so now we want to design this. So what are we going to do? So we are done with the body. So I'm going to go outside the closing tag for body and then press enter. And now we are going to design our class for contacts. So how do we design for class? Now there's a distinction between when we are designing a class and a mere tag. For example, body, we simply wrote body and then put styles and they applied. Now when we have a class, how do we declare class in styles? How do we do that? For us to be able to do that, we start the word contacts with a full stop. We put a full stop and then write the word contacts. This is how we declare a class in HTML tag. But if we simply write contacts alone without this starting dot, it will not be recognized as a valid tag, and therefore the styles will not be applied. So for classes, we start them with a dot, then we write the name of the class we gave. Okay, so I'm going to press space and open the bracelets. So we are going to apply all the styles we need to apply to this text here. So first I'll add background color. I can set it to red. That's the first style. So this background color is going to take up the whole of this line. If we refresh, you can see it here. It will take up the whole of this line. However, it is leaving space on top. So what we shall do, I have told you already about that. We shall come here and then set margin to 0. We shall set margin to 0. Then next, what can we do? We can increase the font size of the text within to maybe 20 pixels. What else can we increase? We can border the text. So I can say font style. Is it font style? We call it font weight. Font weight. We set it to. I'm going to make it bold. Let me make it border. Put colons. Let me save. And we first see so far what we have done. So you can see this is so far what we have. The words are still together. So for us to put a space between, because we put them in different spans, so if I put justify content, we use justify content to put space between two tags. Justify content. So we shall set space between. So when you put space between, it will put a space between the email and then the telephone number. Let me first reduce. Okay, as you can see, we are seeing as if there is no change. Why? We have not defined. You see, for modern browsers, they really need a display type. They need display type for them to actually accept some changes. So we have to change the display here. We also have to set the display. We are going to set the display to flex. Why flex? Flex is adjustable depending on the size of the screen. So it adjusts itself automatically depending on the size of the screen. So I'm going to save this. So when we refresh again, you can see they have been distinguished. One is on the left, another one is on the right, but they are on the extreme end. And actually, it is not right for the text to start from the extreme end. Let it start from at least some distance. So now this is where now our spans, for which we applied on different like on email and the telephone, also apply. So we have to increase the margin of the telephone on the right and then increase the margin of the email from the left. So therefore, we shall come to our span. We also give it a class. Class equals, now the class for email, we can name it email, for example. Then the span for telephone number, we can put space, we put class equals, we can call it maybe tel, which means like telephone number. I'm trying to distinguish between these two. So what am I going to do now? We want to extend email from the edge here. At least it starts from somewhere like here. Okay, so it means we have to increase the margin from the left. We have to increase the margin from the left. So I'm going to come here and create a new style. So I start with a dot, then email, a dot email. So for email, we open the tag. What we are interested in mostly here is increasing the margin from left. Margin left. I can set it like 10% of the total distance from left to right. Then I also create a tag, a style for tail. Okay, so I also set margin for tail from right, so which we call margin right. It should also take 10% of the total distance horizontally, and we press Ctrl S and save our work. So when we refresh, we shall see that the text has been moved. You can see it has been moved from the end, extreme end. Okay, so the size is too big. Let me make it 15 here. The next you can see the background and the text are almost like the text is occupying the full background. So for us to enlarge the background size maybe up to here, we use what we call padding. We use what we call padding. And where do we apply the padding? Under the contacts, because it is general. So we shall come here and press enter and then add padding. Padding, we can set it like, let us set like 10 pixels and then we save. You can see the moment I write the style at the end, I put semicolon. So if I refresh here, you will see actually that our size of the background has been spaced and the text is hanging well. It is not colliding with the with the borders of the background. And next, we can see that the color of text is black, and black on the red cannot stand out well. So the color that can stand out well on red is actually white. So it means we also have to come here and set color. We just say color, then we call white. Okay, so here you can see, here you must think like a designer. Like I usually tell you, web design and publisher, they almost address the same job of advertisement, but in different ways. So the way how you think on how to design a flyer, give it colors, arrange the content appropriately for a user to see. That's the same skill you must apply in web design. The same skill using publisher, that this one should be here, this one should be here, I should put an image at least here, should I put footer I put a footer here. That kind of reasoning, bring that same reasoning in web design. Don't cram, just bring that kind of reasoning in web design. Know that here I have to do this, then after knowing that here I have to do this, now think of the tag or style that can help you achieve what you have thought about. Okay, so I have designed my top bar with the contacts and I'm done. Okay, maybe immediately here I can put like, I can put a bar. Okay, anyway, let us leave that for now. Let us continue and first deal with nav bar. We shall learn more. Now next we want to add a navigation bar here down. Okay, so I will come here, at the end of my paragraph, I press enter. Now create a navigation bar. To create, for us to create navigation links with a nav tag. Okay, so I'll create open nav and I close. You can see it has closing tag, so in between it I will create my navigation links. Navigation links use tag A. I told you that it uses tag A. So I'm going to open tag A and then create my first one. Maybe I'm going to call it home. Press enter, create the next tag. Maybe this one I'm going to call it about us. Press enter, open another tag. Maybe I can call this one apply. Okay, maybe I can call this one gallery. Then create another. I can call this one apply now, maybe apply now, and then lastly contact us. Okay, open tag A, then we can call it contact us. Now after that, now when I do something like this and I save, we have created our links. However, when I refresh, you can see they are like this, like they are not clickable. You can see they are recognized as text. So for us to apply, to make sure that they be recognized as links, we must use href on each. Okay, so first, before we go far, let us create these links. Actually, we are going to let us create pages for about us, a gallery, apply now, and contact us, because how can you link the pages that are not there? So create the pages for them. Okay, so we are going to create about us, gallery, apply now, and the contact us here. So I will come here and create new file, then I create about dot html. Okay, spelling, let me rename about dot html. Then next we need gallery, so I'm going to create a new file, gallery dot html. Next we need apply dot html. Next we need contact dot html. So we have created our files, and you can see they are actually available in our folder after creating them from Visual Studio Code. So let us go back to our index file. Now we link these HTML links we have created. I mean HTML web pages. Now, as you design a website, I usually recommend, or actually we usually recommend, create a website of at least 5 web pages. At least 5 web pages. Yeah, create at least 5. So now we are going to link index, because our home page has index file. So I'm going to press enter after tag A, I mean space, then open and type href. Okay, href equals. Now here we put the link where if someone clicks on home, on the word home, where will he be taken? Okay, so this one should be taken to index dot html. Then someone who clicks on about us, he should be taken to about dot html. Then someone who clicks on gallery should be taken to gallery dot html. And then someone who clicks on apply now should be taken to apply dot html. That is what we call hyperlinking. We are creating hyperlinks. Am I clear? We are creating hyperlinks in this case. So we are going to create our last one. This is for contact.html. So now if I press Ctrl S and we go back to our browser and refresh, you will actually see that the links are now active. Okay, you can see now they are active, they are clickable. Okay, so that is now what we have done. We have now done hyperlinking to each. Okay, now what next? Let us style this bar and we make it look nice. Slowly, but we get to understand whatever we are going to do. So I'm going to come to my styles at the end of the last style we created, which was tail. I press enter. Since it is just one navigation, so I'm not going to put a class here. So I'll just say nav, open the bracelet. Now here we shall put all the styles for our contents. One, I need to center these nav links. I need to center them, because as you can see, for the first time they're on the left, but I need to have them centered. So I will come here and say justify content. Then what will I do? I will center. I want the content to be centered. Then display, set display as flex. This one here, I told you it flex help us display on different screen sizes, so it adjusts the web page depending on the screen where it is being viewed from. So I'm going to set it to flex. So if I refresh, actually you'll find our nav links have been centered, as you can see. Next, I need us to create a gap between them, because as you can see, they are joined together, like it's as if it is one statement. So let us create a space between them. So how do we create a space? We create a gap. That space between them, we create it, we call it what? A gap. So we are going to set gap. Maybe I'm going to set it to, can set it to maybe 10 pixels. Let us first set 10 pixels and see, and we adjust later. You can see now there is a space which has gone between them, but it is still too small. So let me increase it to 20 pixels. Let me increase the to 20, so you can see it is a bit okay, a bit big. Then next, we can increase the font weight of the words. We can make it bold. Can make the words bold. Next, we can increase the font weight. I mean the font size of this text, maybe to, let us make it like 20 pixels. So if we refresh so far what we have, this is actually what we are going to have. Okay, then we can also give it a background color. I'm going to call it blue. I'm going to give it a blue background color. So I refresh, so you can see background color has been put. Don't worry, our words are already in blue because of the links. We shall fix that. So next, we can increase the padding of the background. So we are going to come here and say padding. We can set padding to 10 pixels. Okay, let's make 10 pixels. We save and we check what we have. Yes, I think that size is enough. Then next, what else can we do here? Okay, I think that is enough. Now we have a problem that our links, if we decide to use like color blue in the background, our links will actually not be seen, because they are also having a blue color brought by default hyperlinks. So for us to remove this blue color, we shall come to our A tags. Okay, we shall come to our A tags. So how do we come to our A tags? A tags are under nav tag. So how do we style such kind of a tag which is under another tag, actually which is inside another tag? So for us to style that kind of a tag, we shall come here at the end of the last tag we created, and then we start with the outside tag, which is nav, and then after that we follow, we press space and then follow by the next tag which we are going to design, which is the A tag. So it is nav space then A, nav space A, and then we open what? Our bracelet. So whatever design we apply here in the nav A will only apply to these only these A tags. It will not apply anywhere else. It will only apply on these A tags. Okay, so I'm going to create my first style. One, we need to remove this blue color. Okay, so to remove that blue color, we shall just come here and scroll text color. For these links, we make it what? White. White stands out on blue background. Okay, so when we refresh, you can see our colors have been turned from blue to white. However, we can see our links are underlined. Our links see are underlined. Okay, so to remove this underline by default, I told you it is caused by the hyperlinks we created. So to remove this kind of underline, we shall come to, again under nav A, we create a new style which we call text decoration. Text decoration, spellings matter. Text decoration, we shall set it to none. Text decoration, we shall set it to none, and we save. So the moment we save and refresh, we shall realize that our we shall realize that our underlines have gone away and we have remained with our beautiful navigation bar. Okay, we can go ahead, maybe add something beautiful now, like someone, if I point here, I should be shown that this is like, I should have a different color. So what do we call that? We call those ones hoovers. We call them hoovers. However, they are optional, but if you need to run it, then pay attention. Now if I point on something, usually point on something in a website, and maybe if it was black it turns to white, so those are caused by hoovers. So how do we apply hoovers in this kind of a case? So we shall come to our styles, create a new style. Okay, we apply hoovers on a tag. So therefore we shall type nav space a, and then we put colons and then say hoover. Okay, a, then we say hoover, and then we press space and open what? We open quotes. So now if someone points on the link, I need the link to have a background color of pink. Okay, I need it to have pink background. Pink is not strong, let me use purple. Okay, purple is strong enough, and I save. So now when we refresh, you realize that when we point there, you can see, okay, you can see a purple color pops up in the link we are pointing to. Okay, that is a hoover. It is optional, but if you want to make something beautiful, you can also run it. So we have successfully created a navigation bar. This was our most part we wanted to run today. Watch the video, rewind, and then run. You can also do some practice on a paper. You can write them manually on a paper and then read them. Okay, now next we need to transfer all these to other pages, because the navigation link must appear in all web pages. That's why it is crucial that you first design the things that will appear in all pages. First design, don't design one at a time, design them once. Now for example, all these that you see here are going to appear in all web pages. So what will I do? I will come to my index, I press Ctrl plus A, I copy everything, I right click, I copy everything that is here, then I paste it in the rest of the what? In the rest of the web pages we created. Okay, paste and save, paste and save, paste and save, so such that they all have a uniform look. Okay, so if I refresh now, you'll find I'm able to navigate through index, about us, you can see gallery, apply now, contact us. I'm able to navigate through all of them. Okay, maybe what we can change for each, we can give it a different title, because the other one, the index had King Solomon's College Chatega, so we can also modify now, like for about us, you can even leave it like that, it has no problem, but you can decide to modify, and you have like each page, each web page has a different title. So take your time, rewind this video and look through. So in the next video we are going to actually look at how to, because in this video we have created the nav links, we have created a paragraph and actually styled them. So in the next video we shall learn how to add more paragraphs. Okay, add more paragraphs, and then also how to add images in a web page. Have a nice stay.